Hey there, this is Natalie, and I've got some more interesting stories for you from Reddit. Remember to subscribe if you like having plenty of new stories to listen to, always read by my real human voice instead of an AI. Now, let's get into the first story. So here's an Am I the Butthole story that was originally posted by user tfriendhusband. And the title is, My best friend and husband suddenly stopped talking to each other. This is a fully concluded story with all updates, but I'm reading this one live, so I too do not know the answer to the mystery just yet. So let's go on that journey together as a loving family. OP begins. Something weird is happening between my husband and my best friend Dana, and I don't know if my head is just making up stories or their actions are really suspicious. My husband Phil and I are married for 4 years and are both in our early 30s. We are very happy together. He loves me a lot, but sometimes I have caught him lying to protect my feelings, which I do not really like. Dana is my best friend since college, and we were roommates. Just to give some background about Dana, she was in a long-term relationship with her boyfriend for 3 years, but they broke up last year. He was also very insecure about Dana and was very controlling about who Dana hangs out with. Dana's boyfriend was really jealous of Phil for some reason, and they would avoid hanging out with us. However, since the breakup, Dana and I have gotten closer and spend a lot of time shopping, going out to restaurants, etc. Phil also loves to tag along with us occasionally, but not always. Phil and Dana also get along well, and Dana has told me that if I find another Phil, I need to set up a blind date between them ASAP. 1 month ago, Phil, Dana and I had planned to go to a concert in our town. Phil was really excited as it was one of his favourite bands. I started feeling unwell the morning of the concert and just wanted to rest. Phil was disappointed, but told me that we can offer our tickets to our friends and we can see the band some other time. I didn't really want to spoil it for him, so I called a few of my friends, and my friend Jess, a mutual friend with Dana, was happy to go to the concert in my place. Phil still wanted to cancel, but I insisted he went, as I would have felt bad if he missed the concert. They all went together and enjoyed the concert. Phil kept on sending me photos all through the night. The concert ended at 11 p.m, but I slept before that due to my medication. When I woke up in the morning, I was alone in the bed. I quickly checked my messages, and Phil's last message was at 11 p.m, saying they were leaving the concert and he should be home soon after dropping off Dana. I went to the living room, and Phil was sleeping on the sofa in the same clothes he wore to the concert. I waited for him to get up. I asked him about the night and when he returned home. He said that he came back home between 2 to 3 a.m. He said that there were multiple accidents outside the concert venue and the traffic was horrible. He said he dropped Dana at her place and came home directly. I asked him why he was sleeping on the sofa, and he told me that he did not want to disturb me, and also was too tired to change out of his clothes. Phil had some glitter on his clothes, but that was from dancing in the crowd at the concert. So he just crashed on the sofa and slept immediately. It seemed plausible, and Dana also confirmed the story. However, the weird behaviour started after this night. Firstly, Phil stopped tagging along with me when I was hanging out with Dana. He would come up with the most unbelievable reasons to avoid going out with me when Dana was there. Phil has also been a bit aloof with me since that night, and I've noticed him spending a lot more time in his home office playing video games at night instead of coming to bed. 2 weeks ago, I invited Dana to our house for drinks after we went out shopping, and she also started giving reasons to avoid coming to our place. Dana has not visited our place since that day. The only time Phil and Dana saw each other was during a house party at my friend's place last weekend. I was observing their behaviour, and they were both avoiding each other. I asked Phil about why he's avoiding Dana, and he said that it's just in my imagination. Dana also said the same, but then starts giving me BS reasons for not coming over to our apartment. I feel in my gut that their behaviour is suspicious, but I'm not sure if it's just my insecurity. How do I know what's going on? I've gone through Phil's phone multiple times, but the only messages between him and Dana are very sparse, and there are no messages since that night. I feel something happened between them that night, and both are just avoiding answering even the basic questions about why they're avoiding each other. Am I the butthole for assuming the worst? I really do not want to come off as insecure, but it's killing me from inside. Well, I don't think she's the butthole for being a bit insecure about this. It does sound suspicious, and I think people don't realise that you do notice these kind of shifts in relationships between people you know, even if they think that you can't really tell. I would suspect that something somewhat embarrassing happened. Maybe Dana got drunk and hit on Phil or something like that. That would certainly be my suspicion, especially given there are no messages between them or anything. So it doesn't seem like there's a mutual kind of affair going on or anything like that. I do actually think OP kind of shouldn't have gone through Phil's phone just yet. I personally don't think that's ever a good thing to do, unless you're very convinced that something suspicious is going on. But then there are some couples where they just use each other's devices all the time and it's not really an issue. So we can't really say for sure she was doing it in a sneaky way or anything like that without more information. Still, there are some relevant comments to this post before we get on to the update that should hopefully explain what's going on between Phil and Dana. Notic666 says, not the butthole. Something for sure happened. Only question is exactly what. From what you said about her ex never liking him and her asking you to set up a date with another version of him, that she may have always had a thing for him. Maybe she was drunk and she went for it. If you cannot find out on your own due to lack of evidence, you need to sit them both down together and confront them both and demand the truth. OP replies, I also want to do that, but I feel like if I'm wrong, not only would I lose a friend, but Phil is also going to be upset that I'm accusing him of something horrible. I just feel in my gut that things smell funky, but I'm too scared to open the Pandora's box. Lopsided Aioli 9476 says, have you asked your other friend about that night to see if she knows anything about their strange behaviour towards each other? You should confront them either way. Maybe not accuse them of cheating, but state that their behaviour is not making you feel comfortable, and you'd rather not be kept in the dark if there is an issue or something helped to warrant their distance. OP says, I talked to Jess but didn't directly ask her about any suspicious behaviours. She told me they all had a fun time. She took the train home while Phil and Dana went to the parking lot after the concert. FewSafe3700 says, something happened. Only question is what. It could be what you fear and they did something together, or one of them tried and the other said no. Or it might be something else, but definitely something made their relationship weird. OP replies, one of the reasons I'm also very concerned is because Phil came home really late. He never sleeps on the sofa, but it was probably the first time he did that in years. Plus he had glitter all over his body, and I found glitter all over the passenger seat in his car the next day, where Dana was presumably sitting. It could all be nothing, but my mind is just going into overdrive. I don't know how to bring up the topic without sounding accusatory or crazy. And individual Narwhal834 asks what we're probably all thinking. Was the glitter on his clothes or on his body under the clothes? OP says, it was on his clothes and arms. My suspicion is they might have hugged, which is fine. He went for a shower afterwards, so I'm not sure if it was anywhere else on his body. And now let's move on to the update, where OP says, I had posted last week regarding my husband and my best friend avoiding each other after they went to a concert together last month. I really wanted to thank you all for helping me in my time of need and helping me with my tech questions. Sorry for the long post, but I confronted Phil and effing Dana and was able to know what happened. I was briefly able to get access to Phil's phone last Friday night. I did not have the time to retrieve any deleted messages. However, thanks to someone's idea, I opened his camera gallery and went through the photos he took that night. One important thing that jumped out was Dana's outfit. Dana was wearing a white shirt and denim shorts to the concert. As it was an outdoor concert, she took off her shirt and was wearing only a blue bikini top. She had some glittering fake tattoos on her shoulder and back. By the end of the night, she was again wearing her shirt, So for the glitter to be on Phil's car seat and his clothes, Dana had to have taken her shirt off in the car. I was so angry and could not keep my cool anymore. I went and confronted Phil. He immediately broke down and started apologising to me. He said that it was his fault, that he took it too far, and he was feeling guilty all month. He said that he did not want to tell me because I would have been very upset, and he just wanted to forget it. I told him to tell me what happened in detail, and he did. He told me that Dana and Jess both got drunk during the concert. Phil had to hold Dana while taking her to the car. Dana slept in the car for an hour while Phil was driving. When she got up, she started playing music and singing loudly. At one point, she told Phil that it's hot in the car, and before he could lower the AC temperature, she took off her shirt. Phil said he was very uncomfortable at this point and asked Dana if it's okay if he drives to our house and she could sleep in the guest room, as her apartment would have added another 30 minutes to the drive. She insisted she wanted to go home, so Phil took her home. As she got out, she asked Phil if he could walk her back to her apartment as she still felt tipsy. After she opened the apartment door, she hugged Phil and said thank you. Phil said that he was sorry that the hug lingered too long, and they had a moment. I had tears rolling down my eyes and asked him if they kissed. Phil told me of course not, but he cannot describe it. There was definitely a moment between them. He told me that Dana invited him in, but he immediately told Dana that he had to leave and made a run to the car. I kept on asking what happened, and he just said they had a moment that he felt he could not control, and he just got out of there. After he came home, Dana messaged Phil that he should have come inside the apartment. Phil kept on telling Dana that it was an accident and to forget about it. But Dana kept on asking Phil if he's attracted to her and if he had a good time. Phil told Dana that he is not attracted to her and never will be, and told her not to tell me about it. She agreed, and he deleted all the messages. He said that he sat on the sofa because they were messaging each other for a long time, and he did not want to hear it. I asked him if he could retrieve the messages, and he told me he deleted them and also cleaned all of his archive and sent messages. He just wanted to forget the incident ever happened. I showed him my post, and thanks to a comment, we went to find the messages on the SD card. Phil was right, and the messages were the same as what Phil described. I'm still very mad at Phil for not telling me about it in the first place. This is where it got super weird. I invited Dana for brunch yesterday and met her. I told her that I talked to Phil and he confessed to everything that happened that night during the concert. I told her I wanted to give her a chance to tell her side of the story. Dana immediately became defensive. The story was the same until they got to her apartment building. Dana said that she opened her apartment door, she gave Phil a long hug for a great evening. She said that she could feel Phil wanted more, but nothing happened beyond that. I asked her why she invited him inside the apartment. She told me that she wanted to offer him some water and a snack as he was driving for a long time. I said that it's a really bitchy move to invite my husband into her apartment at 1 a.m. at night, when she felt he wanted more from her than a hug. She said I was just being jealous and crazy. We started arguing, and she blurted out that she was not the one popping boners during the hug. I told her she is never going to see Phil again in her life, and our friendship is done. She started shouting that she knows Phil loves her, and he does not act on it because of me. She went on about how I'm always complaining about Phil and do not deserve him. She said that Phil had been so nice to her after the breakup, and she feels he would leave me for her if he had a chance. She finally said that she could make Phil way happier than I ever could, and he started to realise it now. At this point, I just wanted to avoid a blowout and walked away. I talked to Phil at night about what Dana said. He confirmed to me that he did become aroused when he hugged Dana that night, and he doesn't know why. Dana held his hand and invited him in after the hug, and he just ran towards his car. He said he feels guilty about it, but it doesn't mean he has feelings for Dana. He said he's very happy being married to me and would like to keep it that way for the rest of his life. Although I'm relieved that nothing happened between them, it has been hard for me to process my thoughts. I feel mad at Phil for hugging Dana in the middle of the night when she's barely wearing anything. He should know better. On the other hand, I feel like a butthole myself that my best friend had a thing for my husband that I had no clue about, and I pushed both of them to go to the concert together. I don't think she needs to feel like a butthole for that. You know, normally when your partner and one of your friends of the opposite sex get along well together, you kind of trust that there's nothing going on between them. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that because she was ill and she didn't want Phil to miss the concert, she suggested he goes with Dana and their other friend. She really had no role in this happening. I think it's also telling and goes in the husband's favour that he felt guilty even though all that happened was a hug where he got randomly aroused. Dana was clearly putting the moves on him, she was drunk. This kind of thing happens all the time. He didn't really do anything to encourage it. The fact that his messages that he was willing to dredge up from his SD card verified his side of the story show that really he didn't do anything wrong. It was Dana all the way down who was the hole between the butty cheeks. But I do think that OP may even have forgiven Dana if it had just been a kind of, yeah, I was drunk, I was lonely, and I did a stupid thing kind of situation, rather than a he's in love with me and he wants to leave you for me thing, which makes her sound a bit psychotic. I can definitely see why she never wants to speak to Dana again. And I think after OP's had a bit more time to process everything, things will probably end up being okay between her and Phil. But there are some relevant comments to this one, so let's have a look at those before I hand it over to you guys to leave your thoughts about this situation down in the comments. Winterfront1431 says, make sure you blast Dana to everyone. I'd go as far as to change both your numbers. I still wouldn't let this go with Phil. He hid it from you, let you hang around this woman, and had a moment, whatever the frick that means, and then proceeded to text her and lie to you more. I'd ask him to set up marriage counselling and to earn your trust back. OP says, yes, I have made it clear to him how upset it makes me feel. He should have seen that Dana taking off her shirt in the car was a big red flag and told me about everything, instead of playing cat and mouse games with Dana. Writing Romance says, based on his initial unwillingness to go to the concert, I wonder if this wasn't the first time she'd put him in an awkward position. OP says, we talked about this. He said she never said or did anything like this before, but he also pointed out that the only time he's ever hung out with her before was when I was with them. Writing Romance replies, I'm glad you got to the bottom of it. I have to admit, for some reason this story had my hackles up. Usually I can read these and be objective, but my gut was telling me your friend was being shystery. OP says, Dana was a sister to me for all these years. It's always the people you suspect the least. I don't know why she would do it to me. It feels so horrible. I3XG says, don't let Phil off the hook. He made multiple bad calls that night, and you and him should work on the relationship. Dana wasn't your friend, because friends wouldn't hurt you like that. OP says, I won't, and I am really upset with him. This is not the first time he's hidden stuff from me to protect my feelings. He always tries to make everyone's problem his own and solve them to protect everyone around him. It's going to hurt him someday. Thanks to the comments who showed how to find deleted messages. Without them, I would never have trusted his story. And that's an interesting point too. I think I would also have been doubting Phil's story until he was able to show those deleted messages, which did say what he'd told her he'd been discussing with Dana. Now that whole situation could have been avoided if he'd just told her about it the next day. Yes, it would have been uncomfortable. Yes, he would rather forget the whole incident ever happened. But if she'd never posted on Reddit and found a way to recover those deleted messages, he would have had no way to prove he was telling the truth, and you can really see why OP wouldn't have trusted his side of the story without that evidence. So he really could have ended up losing his marriage over this. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and tell me what you would do if your best friend came on to your partner. If it was me, these transgressions would not be allowed to stand. And that's it for this video, but there are plenty more to check out on the channel, and if you watch them, it really helps me out, where I need many watch hours to get this channel monetized. Thanks for watching this one, and I hope to see you again very soon.